Jason, what is your role at the Guernsey Cricket Board?
I'm the cricket development manager.
What does that consist of on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, for me, it's completely varied. I mean, I could be dealing with a parent, setting up some sessions in schools, running an island squad practice, booking a tour. You know, just about anything really.
Sounds like a quite diverse role. What's your main focus around participation within Guernsey at the moment?
I'm firmly of the belief that, you know, if somebody wants to play the game, they should be able to. It's really important, in my view, that, you know, if you want to become a newcomer to cricket, you must have that opportunity to be able to play.
What have been the main developments around Guernsey cricket in terms of participation over the past couple of years?
We run a huge schools programme. Our community coach goes into every school on the island. Pretty easy when there's only 14 junior schools. Dave works, you know, hard with those guys. Then we have sessions outside of that for people who want to take the game on further. We've started an initiative at the other end this year with table cricket, which you know, gives people in care homes and other, you know, the Alzheimer's Society and other bits a chance also to access the game.
You've just talked about table cricket there. Could you just explain exactly what it is?
Well, basically, it's a game that was invented by the Lord Stabblers and some other groups. Basically, it's an adapted version of the indoor game, basically played on a board. It's played on a table tennis table, and there's surrounds, and the rules are very much similar to the outdoor game. As you know, it's quite, you know, specific to the outdoor game. So you'll play, everyone will bat, everyone will bowl. You know, you score runs in the same way. So.
How did you go about engaging with the care homes? Because that's quite a fascinating story.
Well, originally we were going to bring it over to work with disabled children, which it was originally designed for. And we sort of went down the care home route quite by accident, really. We were thinking, you know, different ways of using it, and I didn't want to appear patronising, but we went in and they just loved it, really. I mean, we worked with 300 people in the care homes over here. We've had a 103-year-old lady playing. We've met the first guy to get the first car in Guernsey. He was the first postman. We had an 86-year-old lady bowling at an 84-year-old lady. It's just incredible, really. I mean,
why do you think they like table cricket?
I mean, you've got to think as well in the care homes, there's not a massive amount of things to do. If you think about the principle of table cricket as well with the elderly, exercise is not a great thing for them in the care homes. So to be able to get up and move to different parts of the table takes more effort than you and I would be able to think. So really, you know, to get up, to move, to bowl, to then to have to sit down somewhere and move again. The use of the wrist as well when they're hitting the ball is really good. So it's working as a team. It's been. We had one lady in one of the care homes who hadn't come outside her room for 3 weeks. And it was the first time she'd engaged with other people. We couldn't get her off the table.
Kind of just shows the power of cricket and what it can do to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, like I say, everybody should have the access to be able to access the game.
You talked about a schools engagement programme. I understand you use Cricket Factory. Could you explain what Cricket Factory is and how you've been able to use it to engage new people? Well,
Cricket Factory, we basically started a roadshow about 2 years ago. The roadshow goes into community events and into schools. We've got a speed camera within it. We just looked at all the different bits and pieces and said, what can we do to replicate batting, bowling and fielding and use it in the best possible fun way where kids can challenge themselves over small amounts of time. So basically someone will come in, they'll have a go on the speed camera, see how fast they can bowl, then move on to the batting. We've got a bowling machine that's built into it as well, and in the catching aspects of the game.
So what's the philosophy around Cricket Factory? Because it sounds quite different to maybe other ways to develop cricket.
Well, it's engaging. It shows the game in all the different assets to be able to bring it together, and then people can think, well, actually, I quite like that. I'd like to go on and give the real game, so to speak, a try.
So we've talked about engaging new people and participation across Guernsey. What's your role linking in with the performance aspect of Guernsey, almost creating that player pathway for players to engage and then obviously carry on and hopefully play for the national team in the future?
Well, from the schools, the people come into the game through the schools route. So we've got, as I say, quite a successful secondary and junior schools section. Those schools play each other in tournaments. From there, they'll be invited into beginners and intermediate sessions. After that, we've got our squads. So our squad setup will work, typically starting in January through to the start of the season, and then obviously through the season as well. From there, we've got an emerging players programme, which players will come on from there. And then Nick really takes over from that sort of stage, where he then works with the national team and interacts with the emerging players. So Nick will look really at the 17s, 19s and above, and my job really is from the 15s and below.
In terms of education, I guess there's education of players, coaches, officials. How important do you think that is to develop a really good cricket development programme?
Absolutely vital for us. I mean, I'm in charge of probably 60 volunteers, guys and ladies who give their time for free. Without them, we couldn't do it. Coach education's been huge for us. We're running the Coaching Young People and Adults course, which will run in April. From there should be another 14 prospective coaches. We've just done a scorers course, which we had 6 people on, and there's an umpires course coming up in the next couple of months. So without those people to come into our sport, then we couldn't run what we do.
I understand you're looking to do a coaches conference, but linking with officials with Jersey and the Isle of Man. Could you just give us a bit of an insight into that, and what are the aims of that conference is going to be?
Well, we're looking to do something. I think it's going to be the first sort of week in November. We want to use the indoor centre. We're going to run it from a Friday through to a Sunday. So we're still looking at the content, really, of the courses. But I mean, our Umpires Association, for example, want to come on board. They want to work with the cricket coaching side of things. So we're working together. So we might do bits together. We might do bits separately. We're going to ask Jersey. We've already asked the Isle of Man, and they've said yes. They've agreed to come over as well. So I think the more that member countries can work together, I think the better it will be. I mean, we're all in competition to win things, but we're also in competition to make sure that cricket develops and the game continues to flourish. In
terms of the future, where you see Guernsey cricket going, what's the key focus areas that you're going to be working on over the next year to 2 years?
We're doing a lot of work at the moment on mindset and the growth mindset side of things. For us, I mean, it's not the winning's not the most important thing for us. It's players developing and learning. Yes, it's important to win, but it's also important that if you do win or you don't win, that you've actually learned something. And I think that for us is the key message with our players. It's something that we've worked a lot with our coaches on, and we're going to continue to work with in conjunction with Jeremy Frith and others. But it's definitely getting those players to realise that it's about them improving as players and as people, and not just about winning a game. And I think that for us is our key message over the next couple of years.
I know you've worked on your coaching philosophy over the past couple of years, and you've attended a number of conferences to stimulate your views on coaching. Could you just share your coaching philosophy? Mine will be the same, I think, as everybody else will say, but it will be about fun. For me, it's fundamental. If you watch me coach, you'll see that. If you've got a philosophy, you should see your philosophy in what you do, and you will see the fun side in mine. I don't do it if I don't have fun. I've got to have fun before anybody else, and that's one of my key bits. Respect for the game is huge for me. It's all the small bits, the things that really rile me are the kids who leave their plates on the dinner table after having tea at a ground, or the shirts hanging out, or their mum carrying their bag. To me, it's an important part of the game. Is respect for that, respect for the officials, and respect for the game.